even with its elves, its dwarves, its knights, its men at arms, its city guard, its city watch, all that stuff. They were eventually outnumbered and overwhelmed. However, defenses were still fine until Void activated, using Anarian's portal power, a whole ton of portals around, basically allowing his demonic horde to enter our realm. So now that the moon veil is destroyed, the two dimensions can basically interfere with one another easily. And so Void summoned these portals behind our allies' lines, behind the military defenses, and it then became a route. A route. It became a route where effectively everyone started retreating, tripping over one another. It was panic. There were organized sections that you guys had helped plan out, like Hawk, Garion on the shopping steps, the Lazarus team with Caitlin on the the East Gate. Never eat shredded wheat. No, Westgate. Thank you. On the Westgate, and Cassian on the South Gate. Henry guarding the castle keep, where the military structure was. Anyway, one by one, these bastions began to fall. Makeshift barricades and defenses were set up. The fort of the Silver Tree and the Tower of the Robins was lost, as the Silver Tree Knights retreated into the city via the West Gate and began to escort and aid the defenders in the defense of Middengard.
With the Silver Tree Knights, what's happened to fucking whatever her name is?
Who?
Laura's fucking character.
Laura's character. Yeah, it's just it was too difficult to plan out. But Laura will be like a guest appearance every so often, I imagine, if she's up for it. But the Silver Tree Knights for now will be commanded by the person she put in charge of them, which is Sir Richard. Sir Richard organised the defence, the retreat. Obviously, the surprise attack on the Silver Tree Fort didn't help them, as many of them didn't get to their armour in time, but they held a stalwart defence. Anyway, the city of Middengard fell. Harpies, wyverns, worms, chaos-infused Northmen, the creatures of evil like trolls and giants that were created and malformed by Void overwhelmed the defenses, as well as the four kings themselves. So Void himself created the barrier to trap the city. And you know from past experiences like Lazarus that the moment that barrier hits the floor, everything inside is as good as dead. So that's what happened to Lazarus when Dravik activated the Chaos Seed. He became a knight or an apostle of chaos, and everyone inside of that city that hadn't escaped would have been eaten and consumed. And so, unfortunately, the people that didn't make it out in time have been murdered and brutally killed.
You could still make it out eventually, though, can't you? Because I stayed in the whole night and killed stuff.
Yeah, but so you're branded, but you're branded with Anarian's mark. So you'll notice that Miranda has a different brand to you because she was in Lazarus when it went off. She has Dravik's brand. However, we'll talk about that in a minute. So what's happened in the city is everyone in there's it's been branded by Anarian's mark as well. So the eclipse is effectively come down. It's like a dome of this like black inky water that effectively you can't see through. It's completely concealed. However, Freya knows that Malekith is inside and effectively it returned to dragon form with white holy fire to buy enough time to slow down that veil coming down. And that's why there was a massive successful retreat and a reorganization. And of course, Henry's plan was that if the city were to fall, Kirkwall and let me just get the maps up because I always get these two confused. Bear me 1 second. Maidenhead and Kirkwall were to basically create a makeshift camp south of Middengard, using the lake as its defense onto the left. So you've got Broken Waters Keep. So kind of like it's just south of Midden Village is where this other camp has been set up, this military retreat point, boosted by the army of Maidenhead and Kirkwall. Of course, the Great Bridge has been destroyed, and its army was supposedly to retreat to the Church of Solace, and Kirkwall was also to defend the river from any potential invaders might try and want to separate Antia and Midland. As you know, that Bane Tunridge and Dundorian Winters of the Dwarf were camped just north of Lake Town, and they're holding that other bridge to the west of Middengard in order to protect the lake, Oziliath, and basically make sure that the enemies can't approach you from your left or your right. Any questions about the current climate?
That's quite a vague question about questions. Do you mean about people or about the map?
The map.
Any questions?
Sorry, Max spoke over you. What was that?
The map.
The map. What direction are we going?
South.
South, so towards Kirkwall and Church of Solace.
More likely towards the village of Riverton.
Okay.
I've gone onto the wrong Discord server now.
The little village
Maidenhead.
right above Midland. Is that the one you're on about?
Just south of Middengard, yeah. Midden Village, it's called. I can reshare the link. Hold on. Oh, I just forward it.
Just bloody share your screen.
Wait, it's in general. Could not be forwarded. Cool. Never mind.
Do it, Alex. Do it.
I'd rather not. It's in. If you go into maps, did you manage to do it?
Oh, I see it. It's in maps, and then if you go above where we obviously sent the city one, and then above that one, there's another one. Just above Alex's last input in maps, there's...
Oh, right.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
So yeah, you're in Midden Village now. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you've retreated to. So as you escape the city, imagine like the scene from the retreat from Osgiliath. Some of you are mounted, some of you are on foot, and like hundreds and thousands are running out of the city. And there's like a wave of defense that's been set up by Kirkwall and Maidenhead to kind of give you guys a fallback point to retreat past and out of the city gates. Set up by fuckity fuck. What's her name? I feel like I'm really bad with names.
Jenna? Is it Jenna?
Jenna Fritz, it might be. Yes, Jenna Fritz. Well remembered. People-wise, we'll discover that together. So climate-wise, any questions? Okay. Sure. Is gone. Void was already there. He was the Veil, so he just effectively crushed it with his hand and then walked off into the castle. No, it's in an eclipse you won't be able to. Yeah, Lulan has it. Oh, you have it.
I have one.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In terms of character-wise, we'll start with Reiner. So Reiner was one of the last to make it out the city. He scaled the wall outside of the keep, and is just east of Middengard's Ocean Gate Wall or Ocean Wall. So he would have to head south to join you at Midden Village, which you'll be aware of because obviously it's the fallback point. I believe Freya, you were the first out with the. Oh, you're right, Dan.
Sorry, I hiccuped at the exact moment that I unmuted myself.
Freya was the first out with the injured. So the injured, you'll be pouring into Midden Village in those wagons. Angel and Clara were escorting the second set of wagons, so they would have been out next. Voltron came out with Miranda, Hawk, and Garion. And Devlan and Lulan came out with the injured Henry, unconscious Trebuchet Tom, and Rob and Jeffrey Bowman and that as the keep retreated, and Hestia. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was the way.
Yes.
No, Trebuchet Tom is. Okay, we all ready?
Wait,
Any questions?
Just a quick question. What is our little keep called? I can't remember.
Broken Waters.
Broken Waters Keep.
Thank you.
It's on the map.
Southwest of where we are now.
Southwest of us.
Oh yes, I see. Brilliant. Thank you.
All right, sound yeah.
Sweet.
No worries.
I'm guessing you deleted your first map that you made by accident then.
I haven't deleted anything.
No, it's still there, just above those.
Yeah, I know. I meant by accident when you were editing to put in the extra places.
What?
Don't worry. Carry on.
Okay. Alright. Cross-eyed. Okay. Oops, wrong one. All these people. Fucking hell, this isn't the one.
So
Feel like there's a reprieve coming our way, surely. Well, everybody except
beach
Ryder,
time.
who is still running from the beach.
There you go.
Oh, this is so sad.
So, Freya, your wagons are like smashing through these muddy palisade walls. You see men and women in heavy armor pouring in around you, escorting the medical wagons to the correct tents. Jenna Fritz rides past you without really paying you much mind. She's in this like copper and gold bronze armor. Her red hair is like in a tight bun. Tight plait down from her armor, which also has this like red mohawk of fur across it, or whatever the material is. And she's riding with a battalion of knights towards the city gates to help escort these people across. You turn around very briefly from your unconscious husband, Leaf, and you see that like this.
Wait,
this...
aren't I on the way in with Leaf and her dad?
Yeah. And as you look around, you see like the veil is slowed down by this white flame arch, and people are pouring in through this gate. Stalwart defenders are like jumping off of the walls, and people are attempting to catch them. The ones that can't make it to the gate in time, you see some of them crumple, rather accepting death than being eaten alive by demons. And people are pouring out. They're absolutely pouring out until eventually your view of the city is blocked. And the dome gets smaller and smaller away as you pass these heavy cavalry and into Midden Village, which has been turned into this like military defense. The civilians have already been escorted to the Church of Solace, to Kirkwall, or to Maidenhead. As you're brought in, and you see these like makeshift watchtowers have been built from wood. These palisade walls have been set up, like trenches have been dug, cannons, musket men. Everyone's on high alert, and above them all is these banners of Kirkwall and Maidenhead and Jenna Fritz and Carl Jaeger's banners. And the medical tent is this huge canopy that goes on for a while as there's tons of like medical officers pour out. They're all wearing white masks, all they're scrubbed up basically in medieval gear. And you hear the moans of the people that made it out before you. Some people are having like amputations right there and then, as friends and loved ones hold them down. Broken legs are sawn, like arms are cut off. You see an alchemist tent pouring out, and Damien Volo's like riding on this little horse to go help them out in the medical in the alchemist tent to create potions and elixirs that could assist people. But the air is just full of screams. And this medical officer comes up to you. Where are you injured?
Can Freya just ignore him and then just be like,
Lass, where are
crying.
you injured?
Continue to ignore him and just be like, kind of cradling her father's body while crying.
These two men get up behind you and they start like searching you and your father
Can
for
Freya-
wounds.
Can Freya shove them off her aggressively.
All right. Well, this one's clearly not injured. Lass, we need to check the man, see if he's breathing.
Don't touch him.
They kind of look at each other and then shrug and assist with the other injured out. Leaf's put into a what they called? You see them on like football.
Stretchers.
No, football pitches when someone breaks a
Oh,
leg.
the
Two people holding either side.
Stretcher.
There's a stretcher.
Yeah.
Max was right.
Leaf's put into a stretcher and
Alex doesn't do sports.
sorry, what?
Alex doesn't do sports.
You don't do sports.
What's a spirit? So Leaf lets go of your hand as he falls back into this like unconscious stupor as he's taken out, and you hear people shouting like, "We got a gut wound!" And the two men cart him off on a stretcher. As you kind of stay in this now empty wagon, the horses are removed from the wagon, and you're kind of like pushed over to the wagon's pushed to a side as other horses are being used to escort other wagons elsewhere. And your father's just dead in your arms as the air is full of blood, screams, and harrowing cries of fallen family.
Then, she's just gonna brush his hair back and, like, just be sobbing, crying.
So he's burned on, like, 60% of his body.
Yeah, she's just, like, stroking his hair back and kind of just crying, pleading.
As this is happening...
Begging for this not to be real.
As this is happening, Vultrim, you'll be the next towards the Midden village. You're on the last of these kind of like militarized wagons. There are some many wounded on these wagons of you. You see Templars that are caked in mud and blood, and they stink of sweat and piss because they've just been fighting for hours in this heavy bronze runic armor, unable to take it off. They were at the forefront, holding that hill for the better part of 16 hours. And are absolutely fatigued. You see some of them are just asleep in their armor, almost like standing up on the wagon or hunched over the edges of it. Miranda's riding on a horse with a small battalion of Silver Tree Knights around you, and you can see that she's actively scanning the crowds, wondering where her friends are, where Reiner is, where the other Robins are. And she turns to you, Vultrim, I don't see anyone. Do you?
I think we're near the front. I hope they're coming from behind. And I'll find a venture, like a spot, like if it's a cart that's on the side or a barrel or something, and just climb onto it. And just start counting people as they come in.
So Midden Village, but it has a small little gatehouse that's been made that the wagon passes through, and you plop out the end of it. She dismounts with you and kind of is keeping close to you, unaware of where anyone is. The wagon goes towards the medical tents.
I'll grab her hand as just like a support.
Hawk jumps off the wagon behind you as he walks over, and there's a barrel of water, and he splashes the sweat and burns off of his and ash off of his face, and then throws up next to it. And there are many people shaking and sick, and then he kind of sits against this inn and slides down in the mud and falls asleep as Garion jumps off and starts trying to help organize the retreat into the city gates as you stand on a barrel. Eventually, Miranda goes, Willow! And starts shouting, and you see a small battalion of knights escorting this wagon. Willow's left metal arm is hanging loosely from her shoulder. She has this massive 3-mark scratch across her face. Luckily, it misses both her eyes, but it's bleeding heavily. And she rides over and dismounts. And you see, the 30 men that are behind her are all caked in this blood. And in the wagons are another 20 dead. And she tells them they're all Knights of the Silver Tree. She commands them all to go to the medical tents and walks over. Vultrim, what? I thought you guys were... What happened?
They played us completely.
Miranda's trying to hug her, and she's trying to push Miranda off while she's talking to you.
We delivered everything they needed, exactly where they needed it.
Yeah. She looks at her left metal arm and just kind of slunches next to you.
I think the characters nearby would see that Voltrum is playing with like the beads he's made from the places that have been lost in the past, and just is pretty devastated by what is coming past. But you know he's looking for his friends, and he's looking for every person that comes through is an absolute blessing.
Some eventually dwarfs begin filtering through as well. You see the bombardiers from House Marx. Karl Marx is there. You know, he's still big and round, but he's absolutely caked in blood. Your Grace, where is she? He like rushes towards Voltrum. Willow kind of is off-put by him and accepts some bread and cheese that's brought in by these the peasants, basically, that are pouring out to aid any of the defenders, and giving you wine, ale, water, bread, cheese, meats. Your Grace, is Freya dead?
I don't know, son. Can I give you a task? Go find out that information and bring it back to me.
He like wipes tears from his eyes and blows his nose on his cloak. Yes, Your Grace, and then he rushes off with his bombardiers, looking for any news of your friends.
Well fought, brothers.
The dwarfs all salute you in like solemn silence as they pass through in a steady, organised march. These bombardiers, the 300 that came with Karl Marx, about 150 or 160 are at least uninjured. Another 40 come in wagons, and then you don't see any of the others. More Templars, more mages pour through, pedestrians, peasants, citizens, injured militia and knights, more people screaming as the wagons, every lurch of this wagon sends the injured into like fits of pain. And then eventually in the distance you see the final bits of the medical center in the city, escorted by Clara and Angel. Willow squints. Clara! Angel! And then Miranda lunges to her feet and is like trying to signal you guys over. Yep. Yep.
Are you with Hunter?
Well, Hunter was the rear guard, right? So he'd be there, yeah. You notice that she hugs you with just her right arm. Her left arm, mechanical arm, is unusable. It hangs loosely. As she's like grabs you and buries her face into your stomach. Clara wraps her arms around you both and starts crying silently. Miranda as well, as the memories of like Ash, Bernie, Tink, all the people you've lost in such a short amount of time come flooding back, and the three women just openly start crying. Willow tries her best to resist the tears, but she's just succumbs to them. Who has nubbins again?
You do. You do. I chucked him at you.
Oh yeah. So Nubbins, appears and he's like holding Angel's chin and like crying.
Might have been actual tears if Nubbins was dead.
Yeah, crying into Angel's beard. So everyone starts like openly bawling and crying. Voltrum, you're watching this just next to them. Yeah. Get back in there, dear. Yeah.
I think Angel might just notice that Voltrum is just holding out two fingers at the moment. Like that, not like that. Just like that. It's just he's essentially way to ruin a moment.
So stupid.
Just like counting the people in.
Yeah. So then Hunter Swan passes by, heavily injured. He salutes you guys, and then takes the Barrowtown Knights immediately to the medical tent. to do their best. Bleaty then arrives next. Bleaty doesn't seem too upset or fussed about anything. He strides in and just starts chewing some grass next to you guys. Willow kind of hugs Bleaty and starts crying into his like his big fluffy back, and he just sits down on his rear rump and stares out at the gate. Devlan is next. So Devlan is on these horses with these massive amounts of soldiers pouring in. You see Jeffrey Bowman as he dismounts and throws his arms around you all. His cloak is badly torn up and he looks injured, and he hugs you one by one and then kind of goes for this larger embrace of Voltrim and Angel and holds you guys for a moment. Nobody blames you, lads. You've had an impossible weight on your shoulder, and we put it there. But know this, that you are the heroes that you've always been, and that I knew you would be. Stand strong, friends. Stand strong. He pats you both on the back. Are you waiting for the others?
I won't leave here till they come back.
Well, I need to go and find my own first, but I'll join you later. Good luck, lads. Count your blessings while we can. And he walks off towards the larger part of the campsite. Devlan arrives on a like this massive stallion that seems almost too big for him, and the knight riding with him basically helps him dismount.
I think Devlan's going to go take a knee by the side of Voltrim and start just playing with the grass, just like ripping bits up and zoned out.
Willow like pats you on the shoulder. Miranda kind of standing, her arms crossed, staring out over this valley of faces, muddy and bloody faces as they pour in. As you do that, you hear this as Hestia comes barreling towards the city gates. Some of the men panic, and they seem to go and arm themselves, and Miranda yells at them. Yeah, it's calm down. Hestia slams, injured, into the mud beside you guys. She pulls herself through the gate, shaking loose some destroyed feathers and some blood and snow. And you see on the back is an injured Trebuchet Tom, Rob, Henry, and Lulan. Henry dismounts with the others. He seems to be staring at this like lion helmet of his that's got a huge dent on the side of it. Other than like a bit of a bump on his head and some blood coming out of his nose, he's waves off a bunch of people, nods at you all in like this solemn respect, but he doesn't say a word. He just trudges through the mud towards the campsite, holding the hand of the unconscious Trebuchet Tom, as these men take him out on a stretcher. But Rob walks over to you. He's got his short, like, buzz cut. He's got 5 o'clock shadow, massive bags under his eyes. Friends, I see you're all well. Any injuries that need to be taken care of immediately, please do seek out medical attention. It's better to treat it now before an infection. I believe to the main HQ tent. The lords will have to sit down immediately and plan. I expect you'll be expected there, but I'll buy you some time.
Are there any stragglers you saw on the flyover?
Thousands more.
Okay.
They'll be pouring through, but they're the last of it. The veil is closed.
I'll give him a squeeze on the forearm, and then I'm not sure Lulan is the biggest hugger, but certainly going to give Lulan's hand a squeeze as like a thanks.
I'll give him a hug. At this point,
The height difference of that hug.
He's standing on a barrel.
I'll get down from the barrel, and then he wants to go over and like nuzzle Hestia a little bit and just whisper a thanks to her.
Hestia's like
She was
picking
amazing.
arrows out from her, like thorns.
I was gonna say I don't know where Reiner is. He wasn't. He stayed behind, and I don't really know if he got out. I don't know.
Miranda,
Do you think we would know?
Miranda falls to her knees and starts crying as Clara and Willow hug her. The sun begins to set.
Right.
The sun begins to set. It illuminates this milky veil that covers Midgard in the distance, and this creates this like horrible muddy color where you feel for split seconds that is the almost like the Rorschach test pattern that shimmers across it creates these horrible images, but you can't tell if it's the veil itself or your mind playing tricks on you. And for split seconds, you think you can see the old tower, the old bell tower, before it reflects into a pool of nothingness. But then, trudging over the hill, is this limping half-elf with his clothes all badly torn, his leg all bloody and beaten, and he's hobbling along towards the line. You see two knights spot him and ride over with a spare horse and collect him, and then drag him. The last one through the gate is, lo and behold, Reiner.
Hey.
Thank fuck.
Yeah, I think he probably is going to get rugby tackled by a small army of people.
Mm.
So Reiner's getting all these hugs. Miranda just comes up to you and slaps you as hard as she can across the face and says, "You fucking idiot!" And then plants both hands on your cheeks and then just makes out with you passionately. It does, however, give you one wound because she steps on your broken leg slightly.
Yeah, that's fine. I would have expected something. Everybody rugby tackling me would have been the worst shape.
I think Ultram will probably perk up a little bit, look at Angel, say, I might not replicate her actions, but she did say the correct words.
Did everybody get out?
Who's unaccounted for?
Right.
You don't,
Freya.
yeah.
We still don't know about Freya. I sent Mark Strong about it for ages ago, so I'm sure he'll find something.
Freya was with the injured last I saw her.
Yeah, I heard that, but I don't know where she is.
We need to find her.
So the medical, you'll be well aware now that there's three large medical tents and smaller ones. The Robins decide to stay by and just help out the last few stragglers and give you a chance to go find Freya as the group of you.
It'll be worth getting people as far away from Midgard as possible, as quickly as possible.
Does that
Maybe we
veil
should
mean
even fall back to our own keep.
Does that veil mean the demons can't escape that as well?
The army can. The undead
And this place is
can't.
not safe.
It would be worth starting to orchestrate a more retreat.
So
But we can
you've got a
say
moment
that.
before as all the generals and lords and knights and captains begin to gather in the main headquarters tent to go find Freya.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find Freya.
I need help.
Yeah, so who's going to give Reiner an arm to lean on?
I'll give him an arm.
I thought Miranda would have.
Yeah, Miranda and Lulan escort Reiner to the first medical tent. It's the less injured tent where it's like superficial wounds, and you see like a busy medical woman with quite an aggressive. Hit points. Most
I don't think I was that injured, to be honest. I haven't got any major ones from from fighting.
You took 6 wounds from falling, I think, because you jumped off the castle wall.
Yeah.
Classic.
Well, I've got 4.
At some
down,
point,
so
maybe Tom
5.
should give you his shoes.
Or just one shoe, and then we'd be sorted.
No, because it just go. Or like a helicopter leaf. As you're taken to the medical tent, this woman with absolutely no bedside manner shoves like a bit of wood in your mouth. Say, lad. Where's the injury? Oh, never mind. Your bone's sticking out your leg. Right, bite down on this. And she puts like this rag in your mouth. Now, I'm going to count to 3. 1, and just clicks your leg back.
I like her.
Photo! Can we take me a photo?
Not that pompous fool as she walks off.
Better than you.
Damien Violet, young Master Reiner. Here, inhale this. This will help with the pain. He like cracks this glass vial under your nose.
Whoa! It's good to see you. Jeez, that's what I needed.
Do not step on it though. You'll feel great, but it's still very broken in heals. It's healing. Just to let you know, young Lady Freya, she won't leave the wagon around the back of Medical Tent A. I would suggest a comforting hand with the young mistress.
I'll go straight there.
Yeah, that's why.
Well, then in which case, Rhino, I'm going to bandage that. Please take a seat. And then he begins to bandage it as Lulan and Voltrim. You find this like storage selection of wagons, and you can hear like the quiet whimper crying of Freya.
Freya's like clutched over her dad, forehead to forehead, crying, and she's just whispering like elvish prayers and pretty much saying like, please don't leave me, like constantly, and sorry.
Oh fuck. I
You want to tackle
climb
this
onto
first,
the.
Lulan?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna climb onto the wagon as gracefully as I can and approach her like you would a very stressed out animal, and sort of tell her, I don't know, be very soothing and be like, hey Freya, it's just me, it's just Lulan. I'm so sorry. And then I'm just gonna start like, I don't know, gently stroking her hair. Just very, very softly, very
Freya
slowly.
Freya smack her hand away without looking at her.
Alright, I'll just be like, okay, fine. Okay, you don't want that. That's okay. You're not alone though, and you're not. I'm sorry, Freya, but you're not. I'm here, and Voltram's here, and you're not left. You still got us, as much as that's worth. I'm so sorry.
She's just constantly whispering to her dad. She's not. Doesn't know. Well, she knows you're there, but she doesn't pay you any attention. Yeah.
I stay there anyway. Still whispering to her everything, that I love her and all that stuff. Basically trying to combat her own whispering.
Just holding on to her dad, forehead to forehead, crying. Like, agonizing, sobbing, crying.
Okay, let's give this a go. I'll approach closer. Probably we'll have to get into the wagon, but probably less graciously than Lulan did. Like get it up a bit. Little bit roughy.
The armor weighs it down.
I probably haven't got the armor on for this bit. Freya, is this your first real loss? Recently, anyway.
She just says Neose.
As someone who has died a few times at this point, you do know this is not the end. You do know this is not goodbye. I know this hurts. No one will argue that this hurts. And this will take time. But we knew we didn't know your brother particularly well. I thought he was an arse. But your father, he loved you fiercely. And he'd be so proud of you. And there will be a time when you see him again. And he will know how much it hurt. And he will look to you and apologize. Most likely. But you will see them again.
Freya just be like holding his head and just whisper like it's our fault. It's my fault.
You cannot blame yourself for choices. Choices
Blame.
you did not make.
Just like he's gone. My whole family is gone. Over a stupid decision. Over someone who shares the same blood as me.
We will remember them.
And Freya like look up at Voltrum, and then obviously her eyes are like bloodshot, scarred, and she's like, what do I do now? And then she like drop
You
her
do the most
dad.
important thing you can do, which is take the next step.
You keep moving.
The next step is the most important one you take. And
don't
we
do it
are
alone.
here with you. And I cannot make you take the step. But I cannot wait to find out the story you tell them when you see them again. Because they're not going to know any of the amazing things you'll do next. What a story that will be.
Start sobbing again.
And
Just look at her
we'll
father.
be 100% joining you in the sobbing.
And then can you just stroke her father's hair, and then just out of pure rage and sorrow and grief, just let out this awful sob and cry and just scream up to the sky, holding her father's body, clenching onto him so tightly. And then gently just like close his eyes with her fingers. And then just lay him down so gently onto the wagon. And then without looking up, just looking at father, she'd be like to Voltrum, can you do me a favour?
What do you need?
I don't want anyone touching him. I don't want anyone
How do we honour
disrespecting him.
How do we honour
But
him?
I need his, just like swallows. I need him to be taken and looked after while I go and check on Leaf.
So as you say this, you hear Freya, and as you turn around, you see Angel is helping to carry the weight of Leaf. As Leaf leans heavily on a crutch, he's shirtless and he's got all these bandages across him, and his arm is around Angel, who's helping him up as he hobbles towards you.
Freya just sob.
Freya, I'm sorry.
Could you gently just put her father down and then jump off the wagon and then just kind of like launch but not launch and then collapse at Leaf's feet and just break down.
He attempts to bend over to... Yeah. You hear this like grunt as his stitches are holding together as he rests his head on the top of your head, Freya. Yeah.
In the dirt.
As you're doing that, you hear another familiar voice. Your father should be buried with full honors. The honors of his station and his people. And you turn around and see this bandaged figure as he walks over to you, his cloak billowing behind him. It's Saren Seastar. My apologies for your loss, Freya. Cassian was one of the best. I can attend to his body.
Freya's like face be like in Leaf's chest, and she just nods once.
You see, as he clicks his fingers, these like animated skeletons begin to move the wagon and push it towards this tree, this like wooded area. He deserves a funeral pyre away from the masses.
Do we return him to Oscath for this?
Agreed. I'll find horses. When you are all gathered, we should speak. I would wish to give you time to pay your respects. However, there is no time. Seek me out, young Master Dwarf. You and your group when you're ready. He nods to Freya and then nods to you all and begins to follow the wagon.
Freya's in the dirt crying, so...
Eventually, you're all given like these heavy woolen cloaks, as most of yours are torn. You'll pull yourself out of your armor, of what's left of it, and be dressed down into more like comfortable gear. And you do notice that already people have been moving on to Kirkwall and to Midgard as armored caravans begin to leave the city of the people, first and foremost, who can actually marshal and walk. And you make your way towards Henry's tent, and you see outside the pavilion is hundreds and thousands of soldiers gathered, and people gathering round as Henry steps up onto the makeshift battlement. He's still in the exact same armor, still carrying this beaten lion's head helmet under his shoulder. And you notice that these funeral pyres have been laid out. Your wounds have been tended to, so any injuries, please just reset your health. Some of you will be bandaged quite heavily. You notice that whilst Willow's mechanical arm doesn't feel pain, it's in like it's like wrapped around her shoulders because wrapped up to her arm because it's quite heavy and unusable. Gerwa's there. You'll see Fane. Fane is crying, Rykar, as he finds you as you gather towards the town centre. My dad's heavily injured, Your Grace. He made it out. He tried to do a last stand on the wall, but his men pulled him through. The arrogant bastard. They don't know if he'll make it or not. He stifles his nose a little bit.
I stood at path in waiting for him. I never saw him come in. Please.
He's in medical tent B. I'll take you if you like after this. The sister's there. Some of the dwarves are fearing that this is the end. Thurin and Durin want to make home. I say that we need to stand and resume shoulder to shoulder with these people that we've fought and bled against, but my people fear these creatures from the dark.
Do you want to know something that doesn't feel valid as a statement, but is, given what's happened, but is a fact? We won.
We won. What do you mean, you guys?
We beat them.
We beat Chaos?
We beat what was put in front of us. And we won. And there was nothing winning did to stop that.
He blows his nose on his hanky and nods to you, and you see tears in his eyes, but he stifles them and does like a soldier salute as he puts his shoulders back and his head held high. Your Grace. And he bangs his hand on his
I will
heart.
Hold him by the shoulder and just say, what we did here will never be forgotten. This is one of the lessons we learn as a people. And we take the next step. We move forward.
You know, at first I thought I was meant to be king, and I held resentment against you. But I can only see you as king now. My blood will follow you to the end, Your Grace. To the last dwarf. And he nods.
And we will have it make such an end.
Well, you see the dwarfs gathered around, start humming on and banging on their chest in this dwarven, deep-throated, almost like Mongolian song, until these torches are handed out to you all. Some of you will take it, some of you might not, but the many funeral pyres are all gathered up where soldiers and knights or civilians are all being mourned and stacked. The stars are beautiful as they shine bright on this night, and you can't even see the veil now that the small town gates are shut. Henry just watches in this mud and blood-caked armor from across the battlements as the people begin to light the funeral pyres. Did you guys want to assist in the burnings, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch. Not really my place.
I'll take part.
As one by one these funeral pyres are lit, everyone kind of gathers around in silence. You hear people crying. You see, hear this little girl crying for her daddy, as the mum's weeping and holding her daughter back from the flame.
I go up and put a hand on the daughter's shoulder.
Henry clears his throat. My people, today we gather as sons and daughters of this land, scarred but unbroken. We have faced the storm, and though the battle was bitter, though we bled and fell, our spirit did not falter. Look around you. Each of you stands as proof of resilience, as a flame refusing to be extinguished. Yes, we have tasted a defeat, but hear me now, defeat is not the end. It is the forge that strengthens our resolve, the crucible in which heroes are made. Do you feel that fire within you, in your veins, in your heart? That is the spirit of your forebears, the cry of every ancestor who has ever wielded a sword or tended this soil. They call on us now to rise. The enemies believe we will crumble, that this loss will break us, but they've forgotten one thing, that the heart of the kingdom beats in every one of you. The strength of our land lies not in walls or steel, but in the courage of its people. Man, elf, halfling, dwarf, orc. So I ask you not to yield, not to bow, and not to submit, but rage against this tide of chaos with all that you are. Fight with the ferocity of those who know what you're fighting for. Our homes, our families, and our very way of life. Every blade we raise, every shield we hold, and every cry we let loose will echo with the truth that we are not beaten, not while a single one of us still stands. Let them come and face the fury of our people united. We are the storm that they will break upon. This is our land, and we will defend it with our last breath, our last heartbeat, until the sun sets for the final time. Take up your swords, steady your hearts, and let them see that fire within you cannot be quenched. For our people, for our home, to victory, to freedom, to the very end. And he throws down his lion's helmet and draws his long sword, and it sets ablaze as he raises it into the sky. And all these people gathered around begin to beat on their chests and raise their weapons, spears, axes,
And
long axes.
shout for freedom.
The echo takes up. You see these little kids holding like wooden swords in the air. These washerwomen holding pots and pans. These medics holding scalpels or bandages. Everyone's holding something in the air as the funeral pyres burn. Eventually, it's just you. You watch as the last cinders of the funeral pyre turn to ash. Rob's waiting patiently behind you all. I know that you all want time to rest. We all do. But this meeting should be had now.
Let's go.
You eventually trudge through the mud and you hear like these people still silently crying in their tents or in the homes that have been abandoned and are now filled with survivors. And eventually you come across to this tent where a large palisade, well, not large, but a miniature palisade wall and spikes have been dug into the earth around it. And this tent can hold about 100 with ease. And as you enter, you see that this Hawk, Garion, Leaf is there with already Freya, as he's kind of like in a seat with his arm in a sling. The Robins are there. Even Nubbins is kind of sitting on the table with his arms crossed, and he's desperately trying to stay awake. Clara notices you, Angel, and she stands up and like gives you a hand to squeeze as you come in, and wipes some of the ash off your face. Leaf gestures for you to sit next to him, Freya, as he's been saving you a seat, and he holds your hand with one gentle squeeze, and then pours you a flagon of water. You have to drink, Freya. I know.
She shakes her head, but she is in one of her hands playing with the ring that Malekith gave her.
He doesn't notice. He's just like staring in your direction. Rob gathers round to the front of the table. Jenna Fritz comes in and removes her helmet, and you see that she's been assisting with people. She's caked in other people's blood as she unsheaths her longsword and digs it into the earth. And you notice that some of the other people dig their swords into the earth on the inner wall of the tent. The last person to enter is Henry, as he comes to the head of this oak table. Brothers, sisters, we have tasted a defeat, yes, but we have learned many things. Willow, if you will, And like Clara and Miranda look confused, and Willow stands, and you had seen that she'd been carrying something in her pouch, but you don't know what it is. And she reaches into her pouch and pulls out this crumbled chaos seed and throws it onto the table. The enemy, their knights, their apostles of darkness, can be killed. Thane stands and tosses Dravik's one onto the table as well. Their greatest champions can be bled. 2, maybe more, have died. A small victory and a night of defeat, but we'll take what we can. Our retreat was successful. We have suffered many casualties, more to the civilian population that remained than to the armies. The dwarves have taken a heavy hit. The elves perhaps the heaviest. Midland has taken a heavy hit. I am still waiting for reports on any invasions in Ansia, but Tyrion Wolf was head of the defense, so I have courage there. A report from Bane Tunridge has arrived that has made me slightly concerned. The enemy has attempted to flank us round, however Dundoria's Winter's cannons on the bridge tore their longships to pieces. Our lands are yet safe. I've scouted and sent what scouts we have to gather information around this dome. It appears no one can enter, no steel can pierce it, and no one has left it. The stragglers that have been left behind on their longships attempt to assail us and pillage where they can. However, they have made no landfall. I have received no word from the Church of Solace, and Karl Jaeger was too ill to join us, though he did send his men. And Jenna just nods at you all. The survivors you may have seen that aren't injured have already been making their retreats to Maidenhead, to Ansia, and to Kirkwall. We will hold a line from Kirkwall to Maidenhead and to the Broken Waters Keep. A triangle, if you will, that will be continuously scouted, armies marshalled and ready to march at a day's notice. This city has fallen. This town will be abandoned. But we will not give up Midland. Nor will we give up Ansia. Nor will we give up the Ridgeback Mountains. Nor Marketh. And we must send word to the humans across the sea. For if we fall, they are next. Chosen ones. You have a heavy burden on you. Relieve yourselves of it. Your courage and honor and duty protected hundreds of thousands in the night that we just had. You did not fail. We merely now have to find the way to give the killing blow. Any information you have that you could tell us would be greatly appreciated. Saren speaks up at the look of your neck. Your brandings have vanished, and yet chaos has seeped itself into you. I can smell it on you all, but that is a good thing. You have truly awakened a new stage of being, beyond what I could expect. And he stands up now at the table, beyond what even my sister had predicted, or perhaps this was her plan all along, I'm unsure. But what I do know is that you, with training, will be able to use chaos to your advantages. Perhaps hunting them down or sourcing them out. You are also completely and utterly invisible to them. They cannot sense you. You can sense them. Henry nods at you. Boyd. Ragnar. And everyone looks up. Ragnar attacked the keep. The famous uniter of humanity is the third king of chaos. My blood. And Jenna looks at him confused, and at that moment the tent flaps kind of flicker open and this gold figure walks in. Her armor is covered in frost, but her long golden hair is in a tight ponytail and her golden eyes are shining. She stands at 9 feet tall and has to kind of hunch over at certain parts of the tent. Everyone's kind of in arms and panicked. I am not a threat. Please, allow me to introduce myself. And she nods at the champions. She is the woman who saved you.
An owl.
Fred doesn't know who that is.
Both doesn't know who that is.
You do know because you saw her fighting when she healed you.
Oh, right, okay.
What was their names?
Okay.
Sona, I think her name was.
Rings a bell.
That does ring a bell.
I am Sona, the last of the uncorrupted Aldari. Forefather to the Eldar, the Elves. Guider of the first steps of humanity. Flame giver, some used to call me. I am the sister of Lunas of the dwarfs. And you see, like, the dwarfs all, like, look around at Lunas's name. The sister of Solus, the former king. The sister of a fallen. And she looks sad. And the sister of Noctis, the second king of chaos. I have been watching your champions for a while. I knew of Sea Star only briefly. I thought her life was too fleeting. She looks at Saren. But she was right in choosing you. The path before you is treacherous and more difficult than you've experienced to date. There will be more losses, undoubtedly more defeats. But sometimes in war, there is a sword, a hammer, an axe, and sometimes a dagger. I believe what we have before us is just that dagger. Unbeknownst to chaos, able to slip in and out of their lines. Fierce fighters, awakened potential. Each and every one of you here is the strongest. I ask you now to continue the burden that was placed upon you, but this time, not for a false profit. I ask you to do it for what's left of the good in these lands. Henry looks up. There'll be much to discuss, Sona, if you will. But I would ask the same. Champions, if you will. Freya?
Oh, it's not to say anything, but as they're saying that, can Fred like abruptly push her chair back and stand up? Squeeze Leaf's hand for a moment so he knows that she's up, and can you walk out?
Henry goes to say something and Jeffrey puts up his arm. She needs time. They all do. Let us organize the retreat. Let them return to their homes, what's left of them, and get some rest. Henry looks at his old mentor and friend, and then looks back at you guys, and you think for a moment there's some tears in his eyes as he just nods. And one by one, the Lords of the Lands set off to go and do what they need to do. Mm-hmm. Everyone looks around. No one has an issue. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. No. No one says anything. Everyone just goes. That's where immediately when you say that, Richard stands up. My lord, I was hoping to speak to you about this, but with everyone here present, and the king, the Silver Tree Knights have nowhere to go. We lost our home in the Northern Waste, and my people have lost their home now. If there's room in Broken Waters Keep, we would be more than happy to serve as your battalion of knights, should you accept us. It would. Yeah. Thank you. And Saren then stands up. One last thing, Knight, before you leave. The Knights of the Silver Tree was just a nickname from your home. Now it has fallen. I think you should resume your original title as Wardens. And he looks around, confused. House Seastar set it up. My home, my house. It would do me a great honor. You have proven yourselves worthy of the title of Wardens. Defense against chaos. And they nod. He nods. Saren turns to the champions. You would do well to keep them close by. Dan's not feeling too well, so he's head off. You do them well to keep them by. They have shown excellent resistance to chaos.
Okay.
Eventually, there's just a few of you left. Jenna comes up to you. I do not know what quest you guys have, or should you decide to take it. But there are lands across the seas. Lands where people have no idea what's going on here, that chaos might yet just be seeping into, that will need to be told and awoken. And for that, you'll need a ship and a crew. My twin sister is somewhat of a rebel and pain in my ass. However, a better captain there is not.
Can I look at her? What's your sister's name?
My sister, well, actually, oh fuck, hold on. What is her name? Give me 1 second. Ooh. Oh my God, what
do we
is
know
her
about Tomaway, by the way?
name? Yeah, she's in the injured tents. Fuck.
Nursing a hand mark to the face.
I definitely had. I've got her character picture. What do I call her? Jenna Fritz's sister. Hold on. Oh, for God's sake. Okay. We'll call her Jane.
Hmm.
My sister Jane. Yes, it is the person you think it is. She's the one who fished you out of the waters.
Yeah, and then betrayed me.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out about that.
Well, she did.
She didn't.
She played me.
No, she didn't.
She did.
No, she warned you not to go. She was like, "This place sucks. Are you sure you want to be here?" And you were like, "Yeah." And then the person who betrayed you was the fat guy.
Yeah, but she played me into his hand to get herself out of debt.
Yeah, she did sell certain information about you, but she's a scallywag.
Yeah.
She is a yes. Well, the better captain there is not. Her and her crew, last I heard, were sailing towards the Hunters Guild, just across the Ridgeback Mountains. It's a hell of a day's travel, but, well, a hell of a couple months' travel. But still, should you need a ship, that's your best bet. And then she departs. Saren once more stands up. Your weapons are not quite where they need to be in order to relinquish these Chaos Apostles of their final breaths. Now, I've been wondering if perhaps this weapon of Carcosa and the Yellow King is a weapon that we should look into. We can discuss this at your keep. He bows.
Talking
and
of
then leaves.
which, Henry,
Yes.
where's the Warhammer?
In my tent.
I would like to be present when you try and wield it.
I do not intend to wield it.
I think you should.
I do not want to give chaos away into my heart. Ragnar wielded it and fell to the void. Victor Tross wielded it and suffered.
But you are the son of... I can't remember who it was.
Descendant, at
the
least.
bastard of a dead king.
A lot of
In
went
the
into
fight.
getting this weapon, and at the end of the day, we have a bit of chaos in us now. And if you still believe in us to be able to be champions, or at least people to our own whatever, then you not willing to do the same and wield a weapon used by the enemy against the enemy. I don't know.
He looks to you. I will not wield it.
Please, for my sake, will you at least hold it?
I will not touch anything to do with that hammer. You must
find a way to
understand
destroy it.
that I will do. And certainly will not fall into the hands of Ragnar the Betrayer. Now you should all get your rest. Attend to Freya. You will journey to Broken Waters Keep in the morning. Geoffrey will travel with you and carry messages. I will return to Maidenhead and then to Maiden Town, where I will rule from, and repair what's left of this land and unite it with Vancia. My friends, you carry with you the will of the people of these lands, the Ridgemount Mountains of Vancia. I would ask you to be both the hammer, the sword, and the dagger that Sona spoke of. A weapon for each occasion, but also be its voice. You rallied people to my banner. You rallied the lands, the dwarves and the elves, into unspeakable odds. Rivalries vanished. Enemies became friends. We must do that once more. These lands will not stand alone, so long as you are the voice. He offers you his hand, one by one.
Accept it, obviously.
Good luck. Once more into the fray. And then he leaves the tent until it's just you guys. And Sona, who stands quietly at the back of it.
Can I ask Sona about the hammer?
Yes, you may.
Sona, this hammer that was obviously passed down the kin of God knows who. What is its power? Is it going to be an asset or?
Ragnar's hammer was created by Lunas in the forges of obsidian, far, far to the north. It was meant as a weapon to consume darkness. I cannot speak for its abilities. I never saw it wielded.
Thank you, Sona.
But that does bring me on to a topic. Saren touched on it briefly, but what he speaks is true. The path before you is not just about finding alliances or snipping out bits of chaos. You must find and create, gather and build weapons that can deal a damage to a king, not just an apostle. Legendary weapons are scattered across these lands. Some hold lineage of blood, some of stalwart defense. Regardless, you must seek them out. To stand a chance, we'll need you as the champions that you've been dubbed.
Would you have any idea on where to start on this?
My brother's eyes. Fatus in death revealed to me his eyes can see the past, the present, and the future. Two exist in these mortal realms. They will point you the way that you seek, like a compass in the dark. Where they are, however, is the next complication. One was stolen from Void by Asriel. The other was gifted from Void to one of his generals. I do not know where he is, only that he's been in these lands longer than most.
Do we know the name of the general?
I do not. My brother says that, plagued by his visions, he saw a room basked in gold, inlaid with silver, a treasury of sorts. A spacious, spacious treasury. That is all the information I have. I will remain behind and offer my assistance in defending these lands. Once you have gathered your people and had your rest, weapons must be sought out. And for you to arise not as champions, but as beacons, as the very will of these lands, and burn away this pestilence that infects it, for good. You are the will of fire. Sleep tight now.
Thank you.
She leaves the tent, and you hear the flapping of owl wings. Alright, I'm just gonna get a drink. I'm just gonna get a little drink. Cheeky little drink. You guys chat amongst yourselves.
It was good.
Also, music's been on point.
Music has been on point.
Music's been really good.
Been intense.
You okay, Lauren?
I'm love.
Yeah. I try not to be so excited, but Fro would be absolutely like the opposite.
Like, oh my god, these scenes are so good.
Oh my
But
God,
also,
this is so good. The music's on point, but she's in a bad place.
Voltron got through to her though.
Mm.
Yeah, because it's Voltron.
yeah.
Also, we need to slap her across the face. Also, sorry, Leland.
It helps having experience with dying.
Mm.
Also, I was
Yeah, I
thinking
mean,
about
Lulan's died a few times.
Yeah, does
Not true death.
Voltron remember Nyose and Lysandra dying?
Don't know.
Because I think that was on a higher level than he was, so I don't know if he saw it, but
Yeah, I mean, maybe you would because of the collapsing levels.
yeah. Let's
Well,
assume he
the
does.
fact-
Let's
Yeah,
assume
well,
he
the fact he's not here.
How's
I was
everyone
going to
doing?
ask, but I feel like it became obvious when you said Nyose is dead as well.
Processing.
I'm really struggling how to play this
Mm.
because part of me wants to slap Henry's hand out when it reaches out in front of me and just say, you know what, honestly, stop making all these plans from this elf I've never fucking heard of who gives a shit. Stop sacrificing people for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's
you just
part
need
of
to see
Adam,
stories.
but Adam goes, no, that's not actually fair.
But it was part of the reason why Fro walked out.
Mm.
So
Very quick to be
you're
like, oh, the chosen ones, you've got another job to do. After
Well, yeah.
you've just gone through all this
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
You're-
The other line I was mulling over was,
Yeah.
oh, you want us to be the heart, the soul, the sword, the shield, the axe, and the blood, because you are bleeding us right now.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Hey, he's a different person now.
Yeah.
Mm.
okay.
We've seen a few things where it's different, but it's not that.
I'm trying not to play excited because Fro is not excited, but I'm excited.
Yeah, so your main objectives now are no longer about like not gathering weapons and armor will be one of them, but alerting the rest of the world is another.
And clapping an Arian's cheeks.
Clapping the god's cheeks as well as dealing
Yeah.
with many a thing.
Boyd and his little
Yeah.
party of kings.
Azrael is now best friend because he has a
good.
god-killing weapon.
Well, in the works.
So, just
Well,
as
we can
like,
just give him the seeds.
Also, Willow
Who gives
killed.
a shit anymore?
Willow killed a Chaos Apostle.
yeah, when I was fucking.
Yeah, with
That's-
those knights that
off
she was
scene.
marching with.
So, I'm guessing our next steps would be rest for the night
Wait.
and then the keep.
Wait, that means we have another 2 chaos
You mean-
seeds. Are they done
They're-
chaos
yeah,
seeds?
they're destroyed. Yeah.
Oh,
So
one was shot with a bullet.
Banger blew Dravix out, and then Gerwar sniped it, destroying it. And
That was a clutch
Willow.
19. We used them.
Yeah,
I thought we had
you-
2. We used 1.
Azrael stole one, and from the Tower of the Robins, and you burned the other.
Now I have to go talk to a dying man, right?
Well, he's unconscious, but Fane is waiting outside the tent.
I also like how more crippled Willow gets the further this campaign goes on. At this point, she's going to be basically half cyborg.
You're better
He's
than
playing Lies of P,
better
right?
than Caitlin.
Oh.
Edward Elric can do it. Willow can do it.
I mean, So the reason why her arm's broken is because she used her cannon and blew that thing's heart out of its body.
Isn't she also like 17 years old?
Yeah, she's a badass. So
I
there'll
love
be
her.
something coming up for Angel where there's going to be.
Yeah.
We've already spoken about it.
Continue.
We've already spoken about it. Yeah. All right. So as just you guys in the tent now, if there's any discussions, you're done. Everyone bar Freya. Yeah. No, they would have gone to. They're outside.
Well, I need a drink. Also, Henry needs to wield that fucking warhammer.
Why?
Because it could be one of our only ways to fight darkness.
But
And
you know it corrupts
the
whoever wields it.
It corrupts those that aren't of the bloodline. He is of the bloodline. It was quite obvious when we found him and the warhammer that the enemy did not want him to have the warhammer.
Oh.
And if
That's good to know.
its original purpose was to what did you say?
Chaos.
Yeah, pretty much. So if there's a way to uncorrupt it, that might be a good thing. Because if that's a weapon for Henry, he should have it too.
It's only
not
ever
just us.
corrupted those that aren't the bloodline of Ragnar. We saw Ragnar. Ragnar himself claimed that Henry was his bloodline. After we mentioned the Warhammer in order for Henry to claim it, and Ragnar targeted it. No, I need to have a discussion with Henry, probably in private.
Maybe someone should, if possible, look at the weapon itself. Even though we know that, as you said, Rainer, anyone other than the bloodline wields it, it corrupts them, yada yada. However, Ragnar is the only one who has had it. And he is a, king of chaos. And it's meant to dispel chaos. So we don't know whether him having it in his possession has corrupted it to an amount.
You're asking
So
a
I think-
man to take something on that potentially breaks him.
Yeah.
We're also asking
Now
a man
is
to
now
wield
the time
something
to do
built
that.
by sonar that could save humanity.
Do we
I
offer
think it's
to
also
store it
worth.
at Broken Waters Keep?
Yes. I think, and also looking into it just to make sure there is no traces of something more before we give it into the hands of the embodiment and the leader of humanity. Not the other leaders, but of humanity and someone we know. We need to make sure that we don't give it to our friend. And we don't know 100% that it isn't uncorrupted
Well, on that
in
note,
some way.
it's been stated a few times now that we are able to sense chaos. So should we all not try and sense the chaos on this hammer individually to see if it has been corrupted at all? Because we are probably the best for that job now.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but we also can't doubt too much, because if you hesitate too much, then we will be destroyed. Counter option. We drink tonight, wake up the next day, and then sort out our next steps.
But don't know about you guys, we've barely slept in the last 3 days, so I think any drinks we do have, we're just gonna pass out. So yeah, fuck it. I want to be able to sleep and have no dreams, because it'll inevitably be a nightmare.
I'm going for a drink, and then Ryan will
Yeah.
walk out.
I need a drink after this. I'd rather have. I'm already living a waking nightmare. I don't want to sleep in one.
No, but there's an inn in town. It's obviously just being used for quarters.
I still have duties to do.
In the inn in the morning.
Me at
Because
the
that's
end.
probably
Sounds
where I'm
good.
going to pass out. Someone should also check on Freya. It's nice to have someone, even if they just... So she knows that people are there.
I'll do it. I don't know. She didn't want it earlier, but I'll try again. And then if not, then I'll go drink. But yeah, me.
All of us. Apart from Freya. And Devlin.
Yes, yeah. So it's not that they can see you with their eyes; they just can't sense you. Yeah. Yeah, he's been branded. Yeah.
Freya told me he died. I don't have confirmation.
Maybe
I'd
let's
assume.
wait off on hold of that. Talking about that.
But they're not here now.
Not here now.
Hello. Dead. He's so fucking dead, and I'm so happy.
Nolan, that's incredible.
Oh, tell me about it. The man who Ah, I know. It seems so wrong after everything and what we are going through, but a very small part of me is completely, I don't know, relieved. I don't even know how to process it. I feel weird. I'm strangely happy with where we are right now, but also incredibly not.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, we saw him somewhere.
Yeah, he arrived. He was waiting with us.
Let's split, do our things, meet at the inn by, I don't know, when the sun's a couple of hours after the sun has risen. It's winter, so that would mean 9 in the morning. But yeah, let's do that. Um, yeah, I'll get my sundial out. Um, let's do our things. I'm gonna go find Freya because
Yeah.
On that note, Aegis has passed on as well.
oh shit. Sorry.
No, that was. You talked about your happiness in such a place void of it. That's another one. He goes to be with his family now.
It's a shell.
Oh,
Run spit on the ground.
I
That was the saddest.
I take it very quickly. And sort of, I don't know, yeah, and cradle it a bit. That's weird.
Ryder looks at
Not
the
cradle it, but like, just like, oh.
yeah. Ryder's gonna look at Lula and kind of give her a dirty look, and then just like storm out.
Did he? I know he was evil in the end, but was it? At least he wasn't. He probably gave him more respect than, in the end, that he was deserved for what he did in Lazarus. But I thank you anyway, for he was to me a friend anyway, and thanks for the show, Angel. Okay.
We'll cut to Freya briefly. So Freya, I assume you're stomping over to where your dad's body is resting.
Wherever her and Leaf are staying, I suppose.
As you stamp towards the building, Leaf's struggling to keep up because he's on his crutches.
Oh, can I help him? I didn't know he was following me.
Yeah. Freya, what?
So, and can
What do you
I
want-
carry
what do you
him
want?
to I guess wherever we're sleeping?
It'll just be a tent set up for you.
Yeah, can we go in at our tent?
Freya,
And can she like help him into bed?
he does the whole like classic as he sits down. There's like a cough outside the tent.
Well, wait, but we have a little moment before Ludin turns up.
That's not
No.
Lewin.
Oh.
I'm on the way anyway, but yeah.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Freya, can I speak to you, please?
Who is it?
The tent flap opens and Draven walks in with Sienna. Sienna's holding like a little bouquet of flowers, and she places them gently on the table next to your bed.
Oh, what was it? I was going to wait to us. Okay.
The flowers are for Neose and your father.
Can Freya instantly just get up from the bed and wrap her arms around Sienna?
Sienna starts to cry into your armor and chest a little bit.
Yeah, 'cause you just hold her and cry and bury like her face into Sienna's hair.
It's messy brown curls full
Yeah.
of flowers and twigs. Draven like sniffs back a tear and goes down onto one knee. I swore to serve your brother, to be his shadow and his defender. I failed in that, but I will not fail in the service I pledge to you. I offer you the same accord. I will be your soldier, your assassin, your scout, your bodyguard. Whatever your wish is my command.
Can Freya kind of like collapse on her knees so she's like eye level with Draven? And can she just like put her forehead onto his and be like, I'm sorry for your loss as well.
Your
He
brother,
meant more to you and Sienna.
your brother loved you, Freya. He may not show it. But
Freya just like stops him and was like, I know.
He stands and nods and then tugs at Sienna a little bit to give you guys privacy as they leave, and then he bows one last time.
And Freya just go say one more thing to them.
Yeah.
I'm not in the greatest mindset right now to handle this, but I promise you, I will not let this go in vain.
They both just nod.
We will do something. But until that point, I don't want you to do anything until I say.
They nod and step outside.
Now, can Freya? Leave's just in the bed, right?
Yeah.
Freya get a knife. Thank God Leaf can't see. If we really worries. Can Freya get a knife and hold her hair and just chop off all the blonde of her hair? Really badly, but enough.
Yeah.
Okay. And then she's just gonna sit with Leaf.
He's lying on his back and he kind of cradles you to his chest.
Yeah, very just crying against Leaf.
Lulan, as you approach the tent, you see Draven standing outside with his hands behind his back, looking out towards the darkness. Lulan, it's good to see you made it out.
You too.
Freya
How
is
is
not
she?
recovering. Physically fine. We've all suffered a loss.
Mm.
She is not to be disturbed. My apologies.
Just let her know that the rest of us are meeting at the inn for 9 in the morning. So, yeah,
I will.
pass that along. And yeah, let her know that I came to check and yeah.
I
Okay.
will. It's good of you. And it's good to
Sorry.
see you.
You too. Glad you're not dead, and Sienna, and oh god. See ya. And
He
I'm just gonna
nods.
turn around and go to the pub.
Ultram? Banger's waiting outside the tent for you. Your Grace. Vane's with his father. Thurin and Durin as well.
I do need to speak to them all.
He offers you a
I heard
glass.
about Dravik.
Fierce bloody fighter. Fierce bloody fighter.
You know, he accidentally I died at his hands once.
I heard the stories. He used you as a human shield, no?
Yeah, we saved some dwarfs in the time doing it. I'd do it again.
He offers you
But
his
he
glass.
was ferocious, just had a desire.
Power corrupts.
Didn't know how to attain it.
That's why I've always kept my desires simple. Good meal, a smoke, a drink, a laugh with friends. A simple life leads to simple pleasures. I've seen more in my years as a ranger than I should have, than more than my father, more than my brothers even. Weird things. But I've never seen peace in such a time like this. It's almost nice knowing that there is something evil out there that does exist, that isn't in us, if that makes sense. Not the wives' tales that we were told as kids that humans could gobble us up, or that halflings were little dwarfs without beards. But to know that there is actually evil personified, and it bleeds like the rest of us. And how we'll make it bleed. I hope you don't mind, but I overheard your quest, legendary weapons and the like. Now, we don't necessarily have to talk about it tonight, but I thought I'd accompany you on your walk for a little bit and just bring to your attention what I did before the invasion.
Please.
Even Star's location is almost been found. We found the Winter Town, south of the mountains, south where the Even Star is supposed to be. 50 of my best rangers are putting what's left of the town back together. I think the biggest threat there is not just goblins, but the winter elements. So their first duty is the outer walls and the hearths, so they don't freeze to death. But they'll be adventuring from Wintertown as base camp to find the mountain in which the Even Star is located. We're narrowing it down day by day, I'm sure. But it's what's inside the Even Star, lad, that I think may come in handy. That's the Dragon Forge. It's said there that in the Dragon Forge, metal of any kind could be smelted down. So let's say, for example, you don't have to find just fully made legendary weapons, but perhaps craft your own as well. It's just food for thought.
No, I wondered what our capabilities were regarding the cleansing of weapons.
You mean unholy magics?
For example,
Hawk would be your best
And
bet, no? That little
I
Spitfire
would
lad.
wager that was our best bet. If I dropped everything and just went straight to the Even Star, would you come?
Got you, Grace. The first bet would be to find and bring supplies back to Wintertown, and then from there, search the mountains. I can't say it's a fun job, especially in this season, but we will find it.
If
Bastion's map helps.
Yeah, classic Bastion. He's got knowledge. He's well beyond his years. Alternatively, if I told you to stop searching for the Even Star, would you?
I could, you, Grace. The men would be disappointed after all these years, but you need the forge, no?
Maybe.
Dorian Winter's forge is skilled, but it's nowhere near the one inside the Even Star.
If I asked you, or told you, you choose the wording, that we all should just go home, would you do that?
Abandon the alliance you fought so hard to get. Our people died under those walls. I do not intend to let their death be in vain, your grace. You can command it, and I would wish nothing more than to follow it, and to see my home once more. But I will not let my men's deaths be in vain. My rifle remains.
That leads me to my final one before I'll bid you good evening. If I asked you to come with me and I knew that we would not come back, but it would be worth it, would you come with me?
He takes a big swig from his hip flask, corks it, and puts it in his pocket. Where are we going?
A bit of a smile comes across my face, just like, I don't even know.
Lead the way then, your grace.
Patting him on the shoulder and saying, have a good evening, Banger.
He nods.
I'll talk to you on the morrow. And then I'll head into the tent.
So in the tent you see old Starkhammer fast asleep. His bandages are all over his body, mainly his torso. Fane is falling asleep, holding his hand, and Lagerford is discussing at the back of the tent with some of the nurses. You see Furin and Durin close by on a little table, trying not to fall asleep. They see you and they immediately sit up. Riker.
No rush. Brothers, tell me what happened.
Starkhammer is a brave old fool. He stayed behind to give us all time. Fane led us, a party of us. There was a breach, or climbing ropes on the west wall. We peeled away and took care of them, but then the wyverns came and they set fire to that tower defense. So we retreated into the city, finding a way back round when we encountered a summer islander, Dravik, I believe his name was. He held us down and killed some of our party, but with the aid of your companion Angel, we managed to defeat the beast.
I don't know how you did that.
Oh, it was a tough old fight. But Starkhammer remained on the wall, buying the dwarfs time, bit by bit. There was the Garen, the gate guard. Him and Starkhammer were holding the north gate for as long as they could. 2 dwarfs dragged him back. The rest died.
Can I
He's heavily.
can I take stock of the casualties from Ingrid's hold?
Yes, you can. Let me just open up my notebook. 1,000 of us came north. We are 650 that will fight again. The rest are dead or injured.
Do you know the losses of Starkhammer as well? I don't want to trouble Thane at this moment.
He came with 1,500, of which I believe 700 will fight again. Many are injured, but will return home at least. Of the deaths, we're calculating roughly 500.
What would you like to do, brothers?
Thurin, obviously the Lord of Ingram's Hold, stands up. I need to return home and muster more men. But your grace, your will is our command. I would suggest, if I could, we do not forfeit an alliance. We provide men. I intend to leave 300 behind to man the defences of Kirkwall. Take the rest back with me to secure our injured and our dying, so that they may rest within the stone halls, and then summon more men. We must also gather what allies did not journey north. So I know Dundorian Winters and Bane Tunridge are by the bridge near Lake Town. But as for the other 2 holds, I do not know. Only Strong came with his 300 from the southern mountains.
200 are still fighting from him.
Some things are in play with our people that must be sniffed out. We cannot have enemies at our back and at our front.
You'll see a very much shift in attitude here, which is that we have an opportunity. We have fought the enemy as they are going to be. We know now the weapons they yield, the attacks they bring, and the type of strikes that they have. I need you to return to Ingram's Hold and begin equipping yourself to deal with this appropriately. What we have now is we've got great strength, but our versatility needs to be increased. We must be able to deal with the wyverns and deal with the ground troops. Return with your 350 to Ingram's Hold. I will ask then that the 300 you want to leave them in the new dwarven embassy we're building in Broken Waters Keep.
Durin will remain, won't you, brother? Durin stands. Yes, your grace, I will command our men to go there.
Specialize in your stoneworkers and masons. We need to build structures and defenses quicker than anything has been done outside of dwarven lands. These humans, they don't even know where to begin with the rock. Show them how it's done.
Yes, your grace, I've had enough of wooden walls. It's not like
And
there aren't fire
alongside
mages.
that, we need a monument that will stand to acknowledge what has happened here. Have it facing the north.
Your grace, of course.
Beyond that, I cannot. Beyond that, I think there will be a time where we strike for the even star, and it would be an absolute joy to have you and your men there as we do this.
They, when you say that, they have these big smiles, like this is a greatest adventure of their kind, and they stifle it and then nod politely. They notice someone behind you, and they both like kind of blush and step back, excusing themselves. As you turn around, Lagatha's there. Her hair is like fire in 2 plaits down to her chest. She looks like she's been crying, but she wipes away the tears. Knowledge is power. You've gained knowledge of the enemy. Turn it to your advantage, your grace. If anyone can turn the tide, it is you.
Breaking all sense of propriety, I'm going to go in for a hug.
She kind of stifles herself and then hugs you back, and you feel her squeeze, and the tears come a little bit as she cries quietly into your shoulders.
And in her ear, I can either type this to you, or I can say it for Freya because she's going to, or Lauren because she's going to be the most excited for it.
Myself.
Yeah.
I'll say into her ear. I looked for you on your return and I could not find you and I was so scared.
She pulls back to look you in the eyes. Scared for me? Well, I didn't expect you to say that. You don't need to be afraid. For me, I'm a tough warrior, don't you know?
I can't wait to find out.
I think you'll find that I can outshoot any a dwarf and out-axe throw even my brother. She hands you a tiny, tiny locket and opens up your palm and puts this locket in and then closes it. I meant to give you this before the battle. I'm just glad I got to give it to you now.
Do I open it now?
You can do.
Yeah, I will.
In the locket is a tiny snippet of her fire red hair.
Thank you, my lady.
She
And I will
leans
keep
up
it.
and
Oh,
gives
then
you the most
is it on like a chain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She kisses your cheek gently and then steps back. You wish to know news of my father?
Yes, please.
He is in a coma, but alive. They say that he's through the worst of it.
We must get him home if he's safe to travel.
I believe Thane wishes for that. I overheard you'll be taking Durin and half of the Ingram Hold men back with you. I think that is good. We will send masonry men and stone workers when I return. Thane will be a good lord in our father's stead while he recovers. And besides, I'll be there to keep an eye on him for you.
Our eternal halls of stone are not ready for your father yet.
No, I agree with you. She gives you a little squeeze.
Yeah, give her hand a squeeze. And then I think I'll go give Thane a hug as well and just say I'll leave you to your business and I'll be looking to leave in the morning.
He hugs you back. And then sits back down with his father. Lagertha watches you leave the tent as Viren and Durin nod in your direction.
This is the slowest slow burn, and it's killing me.
At the pub, there are a couple people drinking, but it's a bit of a solemn silence. Is there anything you'd like to accomplish tonight?
I just want to find a dark corner and just sit in it and drink on my own.
Yep. Yeah, that can be done.
The point where I pass out and probably just sleep there.
Be with your wife.
Mm-hmm. Clara's waiting in the tent with Nubbins. As you enter, she's like washing her face from all the mud and dirt and blood. She gives you like one long kiss on the lips. I will I've spoken to the girls. We'll accompany you to Broken Waters Keep. The Tower of the Robins is gone, but whilst we still breathe, it still exists within us. You two hop into bed, cuddle, spoon. Miranda joins you in drinking, Reiner, and passes out with you. Freya, you fall asleep. Lulan, you join them in the pub and drink until you sleep.
Ryder was actually
Nice.
going to find somewhere away from everybody and not
okay.
speak to anybody. Probably use his cloak if he sees people come in.
Lulan's desperation for a hangout. Well, the sun will rise. We'll skip to the next day. The sun rises and the town slowly filters out as more and more people leave. Knights returning from escort the next set of wagons over and over again. At the very edge of this little village, the Knights of the Silver Tree, now known as the Wardens, await with a load of armored wagons. The Robins have already started to board it. The dwarfs from Ingram's Hold are mounting their own wagons pulled by their aurochs as they all as they all begin to gather. And you'll notice Freya's cut her hair.
Oh, yeah. Music is... There you go. I've put a cheeky picture of what Freya now looks like in the WhatsApp chat.
Jesus.
The march begins to Broken Waters Keep. Most soldiers march silently. The mist on the snowy road goes as far as the eye can stretch, and behind you, you march away from this dome of darkness towards your new home, towards the Warden's new home, and towards the Robin's new base of operations and home. And you march about 1,000 humans, 300 dwarfs, and a handful of elves. Yes, yeah.
Have I found Eddie?
Yeah, Eddie's on Hestia.
Cool.
Hestia's flying and Eddie's just surfing it.
Can I ask a question? The Tower of Oziliath, that's like a massive library, isn't it?
Yep.
Cool. Ryder wants to give Eddie a note and then kind of break away from the group and head towards the Tower of Oziliath in quite a hasty fashion.
Okay.
It was more, I'm just gonna leave Eddie with you guys with the note saying where I am. Not yet. Eddie will probably tell you when you get to Broken Waters Keep.
The Reiner's gonna that's about a 2-week ride.
That's fine.
Everyone's kind of trudging silently and slowly towards Broken Waters Keep. End of episode.
It was a good episode.
So good.
The music has been on point.
Yeah,
I
it's
must
been
admit.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
I didn't even notice.
on point.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, no one died.
Well,
Yeah.
quite a lot of people probably bled out. Yeah. But no one named died.
A couple of red jackets, they died.
Yeah. Red shirts. I
Could
don't
we
think
have
the
done
Star Trek
better?
movie. No, you guys did terrifically. You might have some legendary weapons had you done a little bit better already, and not avoided almost every situation to get one. But No,
Oh, what, you on about last campaign or at the start of this one?
No, the start of this one you can have done better.
Yeah.
Yeah, you smashed it. But it's that famous meme where it's like, gives out legendary weapon, just Tom like, no. Yeah, I don't want anything to do with that.
God, that sounds scary.
So I will adjust the quest log because it's not been touched in a little while.
Ooh.
Yeah, we won't take it too much further because obviously Dan's not here.
Yeah, it's nice as well. Little sessions like this, I quite like.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but it's more. Not much actually happens, but a lot happens.
Hey, we got our quests. We know what we're doing. We've set up a plan.
Ish.
We don't do plans, and we've
Yeah.
done a plan.
I feel like we should definitely run through the plan a little bit more.
Lauren got to cut her hair, which she's been desperate to do since.
Dying to do this. I just had to have a good reason to do it, and now I do. So, bring on Freya season 4.
What was the plan? Did we come up with a plan? I don't think we came up with a
I
plan.
feel like we need to run through it, plus Freya was not there for any of that.
Do you mean, God forbid, we're all in the same place at the same time in a battle? Because we never do that.
That is true.
That is
I have
true.
to split out the party
We've
again.
also-
I am sorry about that.
No. The floors needed to break clearly because we needed to get to the bottom. We've got a ship. We've just got to find
Two
it,
ships. Well, we don't have two ships, but
and it's probably then that port between the mountain ranges.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically,
Oh yeah, that's made it very difficult.
who fucking off?
I know, just fucking left.
Without telling anyone.
Without telling anyone.
I thought he was going to the pub.
Alex was talking to me about D&D tonight, and
I was like, I'll be so pissed if anyone
and
leaves.
it's like, if any of you like start to split up, then this is going to fucking ruin my plan. And then literally, the moment Matt's like, so I'm going to go to this tower,
go off on me.
I was like, oh shit.
You did. You did roll.
He-
Well, they had to be
Where's
alerted.
How did I
I
miss
can-
it?
I-
What was I
I'm-
laughing at?
I'm only hand holding the story. The world's an open expanse.
Yeah, right. Reiner
Also, I
is
think
not in a great place.
I think
Freya.
our safety blanket for this season is very loose. I think Alex is like, you crack it on.
Everyone needs a spare character.
Mm-hmm.
Tom killed his last spare character. Oh, you're not claiming that one? Is Angel not claiming that one?
That's a shot.
Oh yeah.
It would be wise for you all to plan on what you want to do first. Where
Yeah,
you want
well, I
to go
think
first.
one of the first things we should do next session is actually properly plan. Plus,
Yeah.
Freya's not been there for any of that, really. Apart
So
from
when should this next session be?
Every 2 weeks seems to work quite well. Although I'm not. Hold on. What's the date of this week?
I wanted
Yeah.
to do a bit longer. But it's
I,
fine.
I like every other week.
Yeah,
Like every other week on a set day would be good. For me.
I'm not free next weekend or the following.
Yeah, we'll do next
Oh,
week
during
during
the week,
not
then.
next week, but the week after during the week then, like the 27th to the 31st.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah.
So next
okay.
episode will open up with us at the Broken Waters Keep.
With you.
That's Joel and Deanna. I'll be in on some point from the 28th to the 31st to do like a studio day with them.
Neither.
That's fine. Yeah, I can't do the 30th or the 31st. That's when I'll be in London. I quite like to give it a break, but yeah, we possibly. I'll put it in the chat. We'll float it in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's looking.
I can do one of those.
All
It might-
about
it
the momentum.
The next session might not be a big planning session for you, Alex.
Yeah, true.
So it might be alright.
Yeah. Well, I'll put it in the chat and we can play it around. What was I gonna say? Okay. I don't know. Don't know what my favourite bit would be. Quite liked Voltrum standing on the box and counting, looking for his friends. That was cute.
When you were saying that, I had to struggle not to say anything because I was just like, if he's standing on a box, he's just head height of everybody else. He's not actually going to be able to
but
see anything.
he'll be able to see things.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the first time.
I thought you were going to say I was just going to kick the box out from underneath.
What was your guys' highlights?
If we can all guess what mine was.
Cutting your hair or the almost love scene?
Which one?
Oh, I thought that Lauren was chasing the slow burn of.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like on that train. I'm
No
slowly killing
one-
me.
No one
With
wanted a
it.
Greek fuck then.
What?
I'm messaging Tom saying, imagine if Lauren has a grief fuck for Freya.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And Tom was like, oh no.
He was so intense.
Yeah, at least held together by glue and stitches.
You just die.
He got impaled with a spear, remember?
At least it'd be a good way to die, I suppose, but still.
Yeah, it's already been consummated. You guys had smooched and
You did?
pounded.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did enjoy getting to progress the slow burn a bit. That was fun.
Mm.
I like the
I put that in my notes.
Neo says men pledging to Lauren.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
cool. That was
That was
really cool.
Mm.
That's so Draven.
Big asset as well.
So, Angel has obviously is the captain of the Robins. The Robins and Broken Waters Keep is going to have its own Discord bit in a bit, where you'll be ordered to command buildings and defenses, and you'll be able to keep stock there of its armies. But Tom will be able to command the Robins to do like scouting, assassinations, spying, and stuff like that. And they'll be like S+ for certain events. So like Willow is an S+ killer, but yeah, it's very like that. Yeah. So Willow is S+ in assassination, but terrible in like scouting. Whereas like Miranda's really good at scouting and Clara's really good at spying, kind of thing.
I do think we really glazed over the fact that Willow killed clearly a general. Like, we didn't realise what she'd done. at all.
Iron as well.
I mean,
yeah.
she came in with a wagon full of the dead, so they took heavy losses. But yeah, she killed an apostle.
She's
Plus, you
badass,
should probably take count of the ones you know of, by the way.
Why would we do that? I need to do that. Fine.
Yeah, yeah. For the ones you know of as well, so the snake one, the mustache one, that kind of stuff.
He doesn't have a moustache anymore.
Yeah, it's just no. He'll be up and about. So the apostles can leave the barrier.
Which one did Willow kill, by the way?
You didn't meet him.
Okay.
There's quite a few.
So we didn't see her at the meeting either.
No, he wasn't one of those ones.
There's more than that.
Did she kill more? Did you say?
They got more.
Oh, I was like, no, she definitely didn't kill more. And yeah, there's more of them. Yeah. That was sad.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was devastating.
Yeah, that was sad.
Thanks. Oh.
Shouldn't have fucking killed him in the first place.
Yeah. It's such a sad. He got the chance though. You gave him the chance to fight the people that he disliked, which was his own people. So don't forget there's also the Reichlanders and Olaf that you were you befriended. So there's a couple of places you got to go to: Yeti, Reichland, the Summer Isles, the Golden Sands, Badlands. All these places need to be warned and gathered. And you got to hunt down Azrael. Void, Noctis, Ragnar, and Anarian.
£30 worth.
But Void is I would say the overarching villain.
And Azrael hates him, wants to kill him. So
Azrael's creator / dad.
He's
Yep. You're putting some distance.
They can
guys.
leave at any time, though, apparently.
Only the apostles. Alright, guys. Well, GG. You should think and plan where you'd like to go first, and then let me know.
when's your plan to upload, Tom?
Oh, Tom, what did you want? Are you still recording? Yeah, stop it.